What up, everybody? This is the Built Different podcast. Just me and Raul today. Raul has a lot of crazy insight to share about CES 2023. His experiences, going to be living vicariously through him through this episode because it's something I've always dreamt about. Jealous of Raul. He took some really great pictures and some video that I was like, damn, I wish I was there. But I was telling Raul before we got on about my experiences with CES from afar, obviously, but how motivating it is, to see innovation in one place. It just reminds me of like back in the day, long before both me and Raul were on the earth, but the World's Fair, which I actually looked up and it's actually still going on, but I think Chicago and Dubai have hosted. But it's kind of the center of innovation and center of change. Back then people were, had images of float cars that cars that hovered, and kind of what we're trying to do today. But it like just sparked imagination, it sparked creativity, and things like that transition to what we have now, CES. And even before I had this idea, I'm always been a boxing nerd, a fight nerd, MMA, kickboxing nerd. But also too, I've been a technology nerd, just nerding out over other people's ideas, innovation, watching their vision turn into a reality, turn into a product. How cool it was to use that product after seeing the journey that these entrepreneurs and innovators came up with. That's why I've always, CS has always held a amazing place in my heart, and just cool seeing all of these companies and seeing what the future of technology, where it's going to go. But with that being said, it's been a little fearful over these past few years. Once I kind of got into the game and produce this technology, start working on this technology that we have, and so I've been a little bit more on the fearful side. So part of it was Raul was out there, and I had Raul scope in the field as well to see if he saw any competitors. And thank God we're still out there as a unique product, a unique idea, a unique movement. So I'm really happy that Raul came back with that news because I'm not privy to seeing everything at CES. Like Raul was on the ground floor, I can only see what these different media outlets post and so forth. So with that being said, Raul, like I said, living vicariously through you in this episode, how was CES? How was Vegas? How was your first time out there?
Wow. Well, yeah, like Ricky said, it was my first time out in Vegas and my first time at CES. I had the opportunity to scope out the place and see where the world of medical tech and health tech, and metrics and wearables, all sort of lie, which is the types of technologies that we're using for Extropian's upcoming device. So it's important to scope out the current marketplace, the current marketplace of ideas, because that's important to remember. Is with CES, so much of these things won't make it to market exactly how they're being shown. A lot of times they are these beautiful, beautiful prototypes, and they
Yeah.
are almost like a proof of what's to come. Las Vegas was awesome, awesome. I kept it PG-13. I'll be honest, I'm kind of a square here. I saw some shows. I had some IPAs, and some nice dinners. But yeah, Las Vegas was everything it's cracked up to be for sure. I know that when Ricky makes it to CES, he'll be a veteran on the Vegas front,
Yeah,
and he'll be able to show me
that I definitely am. That I definitely am.
he'll be able to show me the good restaurants, the good nightlife, and the awesome experiences that are at that city. In the entire I think week that I was able to spend there, I felt like I only saw so much. I only saw a small portion of how big that city is. So it was a wonderful experience. CES also pretty big. I know that it's still not as big as its 2019 peak of about 180,000 people. But it was still over 100,000 this year. Over 100,000 people ended up attending. Still the greatest, biggest trade show in the world. And I was absolutely blown away by how big and how crowded, how both big and crowded they were. Despite how big these spaces were, there were still just so many people excited to see what was new, what was fresh, from some of the largest consumer electronics and technology companies in the world. This everybody, short of Facebook and Apple were there. Everyone except for Meta and Apple were there. But when I say everyone, I really do mean everyone who makes a hardware product. It was incredible to see like automotive makers, manufacturers.
Yes.
It was incredible. I even got some chances to see the full spread of the trade show floor, and I think big is the best way to describe it. CES is big. It's a lot.
Yeah, and I think the other thing about that is too is that they have they have different venues that host these things, so you may not have even seen it's. I don't think anybody, unless you have you go to every different venue, gets to see how large it truly is. Because I saw like one of the showcases was about sports technology companies and where it's going to go, and that was at the Raiders stadium. So that's really cool, man. And like I said, I'm living vicariously through you. I'm always watching it from afar every year. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go.
Mhm.
But why not make the first time the time that Extropian goes out there and rocks the show?
Yes, sir. Mhm.
I guess that would be a cool first time. It's gonna be. I won't be able to enjoy it like probably most people can, unless I don't know how the dynamic is. But being going there the first time to present, what we think is gonna break barriers and really kind of shock the world. That'll be fun as well.
Mhm.
But what were some of the cool things that you saw out there? Like, I think there's always people that do what we want to do when we go out there, what we intend to do when we go out there, and just really get people talking. And what did you see that was like just cool, kind of blew your mind?
Well, so I just like you mentioned, Ricky, earlier in the episode. Just like you, I kind of almost, so to speak, grew up watching CES coverage, right, and watching online, uh, watching all these YouTubers and all these reporters essentially show the latest, most cutting edge. This thing's not even out and won't be for a couple of years kind of technology.
Hmm.
And being able to, because and my Twitter feed is my personal Twitter feed is even made for that, in the sense that like I get the kind of news on upcoming consumer products a lot, just based on my interest. So it was fun to wake up and be told that LG was showing off their first 97-inch 8K TV with 120
Yeah,
hertz, right? It was like yeah, it was these insane specs that have never been done before, and
speaking my language.
uh, and I was able to actually go, like, from reading my Twitter in the morning to being able to actually go look at it and be like, that's a big TV.
Yes.
So I mean, obviously the TV was a good example, but it could be anything, and any of the technologies that made headlines, like the Vietnamese electric car manufacturer Vinfast. They're building a factory in the U.S. So they had a huge showcase at CES, and I got to test drive them. And I was pretty impressed. So
Nice.
yeah. So there's a couple of crazy things there, but just the idea of people releasing things there, like Ricky, I know you are a Dodge man yourself, right?
Oh,
The
did
new
you see
the new Ram truck, the new EV Ram
Oh
truck.
man.
They
Yeah.
were showing it off. They no test drives, obviously. It was like a one of one type prototype, very early, from what I understand. Uh,
Hmm.
but they were showing it off, and wow, they were able to give it the best lighting and really control the situation, and brands are really able to show their best face in that space, and I think that's something awesome.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that the because I didn't see it there, but the next version of my car now, the Banshee. I thought you were gonna say you saw
Oh,
that out
did
there,
they
but I
also
remember.
showcase the Banshee at CES? See, it's so big.
Did you see it? You said?
No, no, no. I'm asking. I was asking if it was being covered at CES, because if I saw,
Oh, I didn't see it.
no, 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 yeah, because I wouldn't be surprised though if they had it somewhere and I just missed it because of how large the trade show floor was.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is there's a lot of closed door, media only. These people only sessions as well. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
things that you may not have seen while you're out there, unfortunately. But what's like,
Yes.
if you could list the top three things, like the coolest things you saw, what would you say those were?
So I would say one of them would be I went to the Hyundai booth and I saw some really interesting technology on ocean travel, transportation, and ocean energy.
Hmm.
Without getting too deep into it, and I'll try to throw some video on the screen while I'm describing this. It's a new design that combines boats and submarines. So the idea is boats are based on really ancient design right now versus using modern hydrodynamics to build the body of these things and creating
Okay.
these like solar panels that are able to power the boat slash submarine,
Okay.
and it's really efficient for the transport of natural gases and other resources. So there's essentially these weird looking spacecrafts in the middle of the trade show floor, and I'll
Mm.
have to show you them, Ricky. But these
Yeah.
boat submarine things looked amazing. But the idea was they were to power smart cities by shuttling in natural gas from the ocean. So it's this incredible set of chemical, mechanical, electronic, and solar technology, just all dancing around together in one kind of idea. So that was
See,
probably one of the coolest things.
I never saw that. Yeah, that's see what I mean. Like there's things that you miss, that that's not broadcast or that you don't even read in publications. So that's really cool. I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was super cool. It was super cool. One of the other things I saw was this one's a lot, less intense and less crazy, but it was just as awesome, and that was a food machine. So there was a lot of food tech there. It was delicious. It
Yeah.
was great on breaks, and it was great on being on a chance to be able to grab some food. But the most impressive food tech was this ramen booth. It was a robo booth, and with a touchscreen,
Mm.
you'd be able to pick one of, I think it was 15 different ramen dishes, and it would spit out a sample for you to try. It was really cool. They were able to tech demo a lot of it, and they were saying that I think they manufacture it and then are able to install it. Like they do the whole thing for whatever like the business is, whether it's an apartment complex or something. Um, but the idea is that it's a robot ramen shop essentially, and it kind of like spits out a little bowl of ramen for you, and it's a robot. Everything's entirely automated. There's no people there. Once every now and then, people, it gets stocked with new ingredients, but everything inside is refrigerated, prepped and cooked by the robot.
How did it taste?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, I had pork belly ramen. I had the pork belly ramen,
Yeah.
and I was like, so this thing was cooked by the robot, and they were like, yep, that was cooked by the robot. So it was pretty cool.
It's it makes me think too, like in the mall setting, the people that hand out the samples, try the chicken, what I mean, like is this thing going to replace them? Unfortunately, you know what I mean? Is that what's going to happen with this?
There, there's definitely a lot of conversation around that, automation tech and stuff like that. There was an art project that I heard about. I think they were showcasing it at CES. I didn't get a chance to look at it. It was is a haunted typewriter. So the idea is it's a typewriter, right? But
Yeah.
the idea is that it's built in with Chat GPT. So you type in a question, and on the
Mhm.
same sheet of physical paper, Chat GPT types out an answer.
Wow.
So it essentially looks like something that would have terrified an 1800s like person. Like it looks magical, basically. It's because it's
Yeah.
powered by electricity, so it's interesting. But yeah, there's so much cool stuff. In terms of a third thing I saw though, hmm. So I mentioned the which ones did I mention already? I mentioned the Vietnamese electric car maker. That was really cool. I mentioned Hyundai and their insane boat submarine thing, and then that ramen machine. Those are probably my top three. Partially because that ramen machine got me through that. I had forgotten. I skipped breakfast, and it got me through a little bit more trade show before I had to stop for lunch.
Some of the hidden things when you're on the show floor, the free food. I forgot about the food tech. I didn't even see too much of that. Um, it was pretty interesting when that got introduced into CES because you don't think of food and different types of food as technology, but I think with Beyond and Impossible, I think they came out there a few years ago, and everybody's like food tech. It became a thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Food tech and a lot of these will combine different things. Like you mentioned, Impossible, is essentially a chemical company. And
Hmm.
you combine that with a robotics division, and you suddenly have a really interesting sort of food tech scenario. So that a lot of these companies manage to leverage different types of technologies in different ways, and it was incredibly exciting to see.
See, I never knew you were into like tech like that. I guess we talk about a lot of things, but I never knew that you would even enjoy CS like kind of like I do. It sounds like your experience sounds like what my experience would be like, just walking around enjoying things and being like wowed by different things on the floor.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. No, I would say we both have that aspect of ourselves where we are a fan as much as we are a player in this space. Like
Yeah.
especially you, Ricky, you're commanding manufacturing and prototyping at work. You've the marketing team under you, so getting all this, getting that bird's eye view of a tech company, I'm sure that'll make you appreciate what some of these booths have to offer that much more, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think when I used to watch this as a kid and before, even before I started this, like it was cool to always cool to me, but have a greater level of appreciation, like all the everything I go through on a daily basis, our team goes through on a daily basis, trying to innovate and produce this product, the highs, the lows. So yeah, even more so now, seeing these companies obviously from afar, and then when I go to CES, have a lot of deep appreciation and probably share a lot of similarities with everybody there. So yeah, from that regard, like, yeah, it's now seeing everything that goes into this, like even some of the things that you would think are small things, it's like, damn, I really appreciate people putting themselves out there. I appreciate sharing their vision, having the guts to even show things off. Because for a long time I was nervous about even telling anybody about this. I thought people would laugh or think I'm crazy or ridicule me or whatever. But yeah, hats off to everybody that's been out there. Anybody that produced anything, even some people put out some really crazy things, and people were like, I'm like, cool, like that's their vision, like that's what they wanted to do. That was their, they just creative. I appreciate the more creative things out there, and that's always been me as well. Like I was always the guy with the crazy ass cell phone that people are like, "What the hell you have there?" And like years later, people start rocking it. I had one of the first like big screen notes, and people are like, "Oh, you've got a laptop in your a laptop in your pocket." I'm like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. And soon enough, everybody's rocking big phones and with big screens, and you know what I mean. And it is what it is. Like I'm an early adopter. Technology trendsetter, I guess you would say. Because every time I buy something and I'm like rocking it, and people kind of like, "What is that?" Then they end up using it years later. It ends up being the thing.
I mean, that is kind of who you are, though, Ricky. Like I won't lie. I feel like you said, that kind of extends into a personality trait as much as it is
Yeah.
something you end up doing. It's almost like who you are, right? So it's good to, I feel like there's a portion of people who feel that always being up on the latest means always understanding how good technology can get, how good humans can get,
Hmm.
you know. And I always think that's such an honorable thing. So yeah, I this tech space is incredible. I did want to ask though,
Yeah,
I wanted to kind of ask the same question back to you based on the coverage. If you had any favorites at CES this year.
for sure. And I kind of going back to what you said as well. Like it's what you were just saying. Like being the early adopter and everything. It's also like super dope to be creating something. That
Oh yes.
you know. So it's always been fun to watch these things and be an early adopter of the technology and feeling like I'm a trendsetter. Now it's cool to create a trend-setting product and building my own cool, creative, unique technology. So it's cool being like as you said, a player in the space now, not just an observer. But I
Yeah.
love observing too. I love the different use cases, different industries. Not any. It doesn't even have to be anything similar to what we're doing. I just love innovation and somebody's take on how to advance humanity and the world forward. So
Mhm.
um, as far as what I saw, that was really cool, and it sounds like you were able to see a lot more than they broadcast on TV and everything, and not just TV, on the internet and publications and everything. And I'm interested to see if you got to see these things as well. So when I mentioned them, I'm going to see if you actually saw these on the show floor because I want to hear your thoughts on them and seeing it in person. The first thing that I thought was really cool was the BMW iVision D. It was kind of
Yes.
like, did you see
We'll show,
that?
we'll show some footage while we're talking about it because I have some, so we'll be able to talk through some footage while it. What does it do again, Ricky? Just so you can tell the folks at home.
If anybody's ever seen the show back in the day, Knight Rider, it still comes on, some of the classic networks. It was basically Kit. It was Kit, but one ability that Kit didn't have, which was color changing panels. So I think you have like a controller. You can control the different screens. It had like a QR codes all over it, I believe, or that might
Yep.
have been the VW. VW had a vehicle
W had the
similar.
QR codes, I believe. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, VW had the QR codes, but yeah, this was a color changing. It was intuitive. You could talk to it. It would respond back to you. It was Kit, just with panels that change colors. Maybe you have a deeper interpretation of it based on seeing it in person.
No, yeah, it's essentially what Ricky's saying. It's colorful e-ink. Just to give you an example
Yes.
of the kind of things that was happening, there was a woman right next to me, and out loud she was like, "I kind of don't like the yellow." And as she said that, it shifted purple,
Wow.
almost like it was
Yeah.
listening. It was incredible, and it was. I know from what I understand too, the interior is one of the most modern and cutting edge so far in an automobile. I mean, at
Mhm.
this point, these things look like spaceships in there.
Okay. Yeah, no, that and the VW, the Volkswagen, I don't remember the name of that one, but really cool. I mean,
Hmm.
why can't we customize our cars in the future? You know what I mean? Like why not? You know what I mean? Why not? Like that's what CS is to me. Why the hell not? And
Yes.
that's what I enjoy about a lot of these things. Some of them may come to life, some of them may never, but at least it gets people thinking, it gets people excited. It can refresh an industry that's been stale for a little while.
Hmm.
So, I guess with that being said, the next one I'll go over is kind of LG had a really cool fridge that was kind of like these e-ink devices. It was called the Mood Up, and it was color changing. You could change the color of your fridge because like I said before, why the hell not? Why does your fridge have to look the same way every day? Why not? Why can't your fridge look different every day? Like you might be in the mood for like a red fridge. Like why not? The next day you might be in the mood for a neon green fridge. Why not?
Yeah, yeah.
And
I did get to see that one. I did. It was pretty. It was
did
pretty
you?
awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Okay.
guy actually told me that they may or may not be working on more advanced versions. They can do more things. I don't want to obviously uh blow up LG's spot, but I'm very excited to see them continue the idea of asking why can't we do cool stuff with our fridge? Why not? Like just like Ricky said.
Hmm. Yeah. One of the crazier ones, and ones that I think people were more so talking about that I thought was pretty was going to be pretty useful. Toilet tech. You know,
So I
I would
did.
call it I would call it like Aztec, but this one's not actually you're not sitting on this one, because I think they had one a couple years ago that I called Aztec, and it was something about the toilet seat. But yeah, the Withings U-Scan, where basically every time you use the restroom, it's analyzing your urine and telling you things. You could tell a woman if they're pregnant. It could analyze if you have any kind of diseases or anything based on your urine. So I thought that was really cool and really useful. A lot of people were talking like it was something crazy, but I was like, man, why not have that there and get more insight about yourself and potentially help find out something that you weren't privy to before just by doing what we do every day using the bathroom.
Yeah, if you told someone from the medieval ages that how blood work essentially functions, they would behave the same way. They'd be like, "Ew, no, that's gross. You like draw blood from me and
They
then
might
tell me."
hang you and call you a witch.
Exactly, right? Like, I feel like every time someone's like, "Oh, that's so weird," it really is just a base instinct to like not change. It's that animal instinct to not want to progress. We always got to get past it and be like, no, there's like you said, there's value to knowing how hydrated you are. Are you getting enough of X vitamin or X mineral? Like, there's
Hmm.
deficiencies that can mean certain illnesses, and then that was what's so incredible. There's also the silly side of toilet tech. We stopped by the
Yeah.
Kohler booth and we actually loved it, but it was an $11,000 smart toilet with it had
What
laser
was this thing
sensors.
doing?
It essentially had laser sensors where if I won't get too detailed, but it did everything for you.
You're gonna have to tell me about this one offline because I'm trying to. At first, I thought you were going somewhere else with this. I thought you were gonna say that
it
it
was it,
eliminates waste with the lasers. That's what I thought you were going with it.
no, no, no. Basically, it opens for you, it flushes for you. It's got an
Okay.
automatic smart bidet. It's Alexa enabled, so you can talk to your fridge if you or to your
Oh, I,
toilet.
I see where the lasers come in now. Pinpoint accuracy, huh? With
Yep,
the
yep,
bidet.
yep.
No,
So yeah,
hey, oh, not everything's not one size fit all in that category. So I can see the pinpoint accuracy of the lasers coming into play. You
yeah.
know.
There was definitely a lot of toilet tech at CES, like Ricky said. But some of it was pretty
uh,
cool.
you, I'm all for like things that have been the same for so long. Let's do it differently. That's what we're about, obviously, and we're gonna show that to the audience at CES and even before that. But yeah, do things differently. Why not? Why do we have to stay in this rut and do the same things over and over again? Why not just shake things up and make them cooler, make them more useful? Even if it's your toilet, you know what I mean? We take for granted sitting on our toilet and doing what we do on our toilets. Like, why not make our toilets smarter and why not make them cooler and more unique? That's the thing. You go in most houses, unless it's like somebody that's got kind of a modern house or like newer technology in their house. All of our toilets gonna be the same. I'll go to your house, we might have the same toilet. You come to my house, the same looking toilet.
Hmm.
I want somebody to walk in my bathroom and be like, I had an experience in your bathroom. You know what I mean?
There's a before and an after the Kohler smart toilet.
That happened to me at a hotel where it had a bidet and everything. When Japan, I used one and I was like, "Damn, this is pretty wild." But recently, I went to a hotel and the toilet was amazing, man. It was like the talk of the room. Like I told everybody about it. I was like, that's what technology should be like, and different applications of things should feel like. It's like people start talking about it. Man, I had this experience with a toilet. I had experience with, this, that, and that's what it should be,
Hmm.
So, one of the other things I found, you know, obviously I got the Samsung Fold, so I'm always about the Samsung, like the flip tech and all of that stuff. So, I have
Yes.
this, obviously. You've seen it. But they had some really cool screens, flexible and rollable prototypes. So like a new, like next level of these phones. So I thought that was really cool. Um, you haven't seen my laptop before, have you? I have a pretty cool, different laptop right now.
Oh,
But LG, Lenovo kind of took it up another notch with the Yoga Book 9i, was basically the whole thing was a screen. I'm not sure if you saw it. There was no actual physical keyboard. It was just two screens. Your top and your bottom were screens. And
wow.
then it had like a little platform that you could sit on. So you could literally take the two screens and have them like one up above the other with another physical keyboard underneath. I thought that was really cool and unique.
That is cool and unique.
Um, you mentioned this as well, the but I thought it was really cool, the John Deere electric tractors and autonomous farming equipment. Um, oh, you got a hat from the show, huh? Oh, wow. Okay, so I guess you did see it then, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was incredible. They were giving out these hats at the John Deere booth. It was a great
Mhm.
opportunity to check out some of their automated farming tech. It really, I think, if you want to look at something that makes me feel like we're in the future, it's crops that farm themselves. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate side of it too, though, is like, are we replacing farmers? But I mean, I think a lot of that tech too, they preach that a farmer would or whoever would typically be riding in this thing could still ride in it, but also they would be manning it from like a tablet or something as well. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
hope,
There would still be a need to manage large crops of land, large areas of land. It just, thankfully, it's not about actually driving the tractor anymore. They have more time to manage the farm and
sure.
build it out, and do that. I totally get the idea of the fear of replacement. Thankfully, I think right now the era that we're in with these kinds of things is they are tools that sort of speed up production or improve production as opposed to replacing humans. That's how I like to think about it, at least. You know,
Um, no, it's cool that you got to see that. A lot of those tractors were freaking huge from what I saw, man. Like
they
big,
were
big
they were
vehicles.
shout out John Deere.
Shout out to John Deere. Samsung, I'm always about the TVs, large screens. 97 inch I didn't see, but man, I'd love to have one of those in my house. Future TV, watching, all the football games or whatever. Yeah, fight parties, everything on those things. But Samsung had a QLED TV that I guess is like the next sharpest image, the brightest panel, and I thought that looked really cool. I think it'd be cool to see in person. I'm not sure if you saw it.
I saw some of the Samsung displays. I didn't read too much into them, but
Mhm.
I knew they looked bright and I knew they looked sharp. They were showing off some screens that were playing 8K content that was shot on some of the new Samsung phones. So it was kind of like a double promotion, and
Yeah,
that was really impressive.
no, that's cool. Like I'm always about the TVs and the newest and the brightest and the new technology they put in them. So that's really cool. I'd love to see those in person. That would be one booth I'd definitely be stopping at. Samsung, LG, and all these other Sony and all these other screen manufacturers. The Ram EV concept was one I thought was really cool. Still wrapping my head around EV because I'm, kind of a motor head, gearhead type of guy. But I thought that was really cool. The one thing I'll say about it is like concepts, man. You love them, and it's just like how much of this is really gonna come to light. That's what I hate about concepts. It's like so cool. Like, why can't I have this now?
Yeah.
But that's kind of what led me to. run this, our company and our technology the way it is, because I feel like we are putting what most people would think is a concept into their hands now. So, you know, I kind of took my love hate for concept vehicles, concept products, and said, hey, let's put the concept in people's hands now. And it's kind of shaped my philosophy. So I think it's kind of a cool thing. Um, the last was, I'm not sure if you saw this or not. I just saw this today, but um, the Sony Star, like Sony sent a satellite up called the Star Sphere. I guess it launched on one of the SpaceX rockets, but essentially a satellite that us here on Earth can control and take pictures from. So I guess it's I think you do it mobily, but you get you select a time slot and then you can actually rotate it, you can pitch it and things like that, the satellite, and take pictures of whatever you want. And it's you time it so wherever it is in orbit, like if you want to take a picture of your home country or state or whatever, you can be at that exact moment and take the picture. I thought that was really cool. Space exploration is starting to become a big thing, but why not give you know everyday people the opportunity to kind of explore and feel like they're up there, before it becomes cheap enough for everybody to kind of go up there at some point, space tourism. So I thought that was really cool and unique, but I found that out the blue today. I don't know, it's kind of weird. I'm not sure if you saw
Yeah.
that.
No, yeah, there was a lot going on. There was even, if you can believe it, there was a little smidgen of space tourism that I stopped by at. I
Uh,
I was at the Siemens booth, I believe, the
mhm,
German multinational multi conglomerate company.
mhm,
They were showing off. I forget what the project was called, but it's essentially a metal air balloon the size of a football stadium.
okay.
And the idea is that it's connected to a basket the size of a small restaurant, the size of a small like booth, essentially a bar, and you would be floated to the very highest ends of the atmosphere,
Mhm.
and you would essentially see space. You'd be in space. You'd be at the cusp of space, essentially, at the very edge of the Earth's atmosphere.
Mhm.
I forget how much the early tickets were. Definitely, the idea was billionaires and millionaires going up there.
Yeah, I wonder if I wonder if they created that. I have to look into it, but I wonder if they created it for a company that's on the Space Coast in Florida, called Space Perspective, because that's what they're doing. They're
That's what it
launching, I
is.
think,
That's what it is. It's the space perspective.
okay,
Exactly what it was.
yeah,
It's
yeah. It looks pretty crazy. Yeah, the tickets. I want to say, I don't want to. Let me not even throw out a price so people get
a
thrown
big
off. Any of
number.
you
It's a big
billionaires and
number.
millionaires that, any of you billionaires and millionaires or future billionaires and millionaires that want to take this, I don't want you to be thrown off by the wrong price. So I'm not going to mention it. It's crazy because one of the guy that I spoke with that has an investment group, he's one of the investors on that project, and I think he may have been mentioning that he may be one of the first people to take a ride on that when they launch. So I
I
actually
mean,
attended one of their conferences not too long ago where their CEO, I forget her name, I'm sorry, was talking about it, and she gave all the details. I was like, man, this is crazy.
no, yeah, the demo was incredible. I get why they're trying to do what they're trying to do. This is
Hmm.
they're tourism, transportation. It can reach literal new heights. So I'm excited for that.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I mean, people always bragging about imagine that Instagram shot. Everybody's taking these Instagram selfies on, in Eiffel Tower in Rome, or imagine taking it from space.
Hmm.
Can't say many other people can't say they've done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say about CES? Your experience, like how it kind of relates to our debut this next year, I should say.
Well, I think there's two things to say there. I think number one, I'm happy to report back that no one has a form factor like Extropian's current device iterations. There's nothing like it on the market really. Um, all the technologies that we put in to this upcoming device, they're literally next generation in the sense that we're seeing all the top level components, and we're integrating them into one system. So that's I'm really excited to see that turn into something. And in terms of us, I'm very excited for Extropian to take over at CES 2024. Whether it be a booth or just taking over the trade show floor and checking out all the newest technologies. I know Ricky's gonna have a blast. I know Sean's gonna have a blast as his right hand man. I know that Dr. Tao is definitely going to be taking notes at all the important kind of advancements in the world of consumer electronics.
Been to a trade show with her. She will definitely be taking notes and stopping at everything.
No, and
uh,
that's what we need out of this dream team that you've created. So I'm really excited for what's to come for you guys. But CES is definitely an experience to behold. It's still got it. It's still got it, and it's going to keep getting bigger again as we drift further away from COVID and closer to safety. More and more, I think people are going to be showing up to these amazing events.
yeah, I'm ready to do this, man. It's been, I've always watched people living out their dream and presenting their dream out there. Like, I think it's going to be a dope experience, me being able to go out there and showcase what Extropian has and what we're doing. And, we want to drop jaws. Like, my jaw has been dropped from many of the companies. And, I'm even down for people to question, like, is this even real? Can this be done? Like I've done and many other people have done with other companies, and to actually go out there and prove it. And for people to say, like, no, this looks like a cool concept. No, this is reality. Put this on and yeah, get ready to be delivered a world of information and get to know yourself even better than ever in your journey of being an extropian and being somebody that's pushing past the perceived limit. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Every time I watch it, CES or see like presentations, I'm excited. It gets me gassed up for what we're doing, revealing ourselves to the world and just pushing humanity forward. That's our goal, and that starts this year when we get these things out on the market and get these into people's hands and get people, surrounded in our journey. More users on our platforms, more followers. But yeah, that all starts now, and yeah, we're just ready to change the game, disrupt an industry that we feel like is stale. Just like I was talking about toilets, and people changing those up, even though most people think, oh, my toilet's fine, and down the line, people are going to want these things that these people at CES, the toilet tech that they displayed. People, it's going to be integral in their everyday lives and in their houses. And that's what we're doing as well. Is we're gonna become an essential tool in people's everyday lives to keep them healthy, keep them safe, keep them performing at their highest heights. And yeah, we're just excited and I'm ready to just get out there and rock and roll, man. And hopefully, I'm on the big stage just talking about this. We plan on being that impressive that we are on the big stage, and we are awarded CS 2024 company of the show or whatever. I'm gassed, man, and thank you for your sharing everything, and even hitting me up while you were out in Vegas. Sometimes it's hard to communicate with people while you're in Vegas because you're just so overwhelmed with everything. But yeah, you sharing the experience and being able to kind of relay everything back to me, and most of all, making letting us know there's nothing as unique as us out there right now. So thank you for that as well, Raul.
Absolutely, no, I'm happy to help Ricky as always, and I'm really excited for what Extropian is going to have to offer.
Yeah, man. So with that being said, always encouraging people at the end of this podcast to join our group, become a part of our movement. If you're that person that's trying to excel and be the best version of yourself, follow our journey because we're gonna help you get there. And you may know it deep inside, but you may not have a way of seeing it. We're gonna provide you with that visual and that the ability to track that. So with that being said, I'm going to sign off. Ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, thank you, Raul, for all your hard work and all your efforts and all the time you take out to do this for us. And for everybody else at Extropian, thank you, and as Adrian as well. And yeah, going to go and sign off. Thank you guys for checking in with us, and Thank you for being a part of the journey.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.